the cultural weight, the weight of just what the sort of cultural atmosphere is all pressing people in this one direction, right? It's all pressing people toward, um, essentially medicating your soul away, right? It's finding whatever cure or or lobotomy or amputation is gonna make the bad stuff inside go quiet. And they sell it to us in all these different ways. Here's the metaverse, and now the world can be anything you want it to be. Or here's hormone injections, and now you'll feel comfortable in your body finally. Here's any number of pills that can make your sadness go away. And all the time, people are getting more and more miserable, and they're sensing that, in fact, like their sadness isn't gone, it's just muted for their consciousness. So it's kind of the opposite direction from, the direction that you're suggesting the Romantic poets and the gospel both lead in, right? If they are sort of drawing us deeper into the sharpness of attention and existence in the world, and life as this kind of urgently aflame experience, then everything in the world is kind of dragging us away from that. And even people that don't really, if they stopped and thought about it, they would not want any of this, kind of feel like it's outside of their control. I mean, is this just the world, capital W, or is it something unique to our age? Do you think?
Well, no, it is the world. It is the world. But as Wordsworth wrote, the world is too much with us, and it's with us more and more because of the tools that we have that can be great tools, the internet, television, all these things that are there, but can also be abused, just like everything. Everything, there's a bad version of everything. There's a bad and a good version of almost everything. And so, you have an internet, and I can take a phone out of my pocket and read the plays of Shakespeare and look up any reference that I want, but I can also stay on that for 24 hours and miss the experience of life entirely. And it really does begin with what you were talking about before, the subjective experience, the idea of I, okay? Because a lot of people turn to drugs for this stuff. A lot of people turn to drugs to open up their minds. And I'm very opposed to this. I'm very opposed. I mean, obviously, some people are ill and need drugs, but they're overprescribed for depression, and the people who use things like LSD, I think, are actually missing the point. And people who take LSD are always saying, wow, I saw the greatest things, but I noticed that their lives don't improve, they don't become wiser, they just have had this experience. Well, why is that? It's because the person who is supposed to have that experience, that I, is already there. You already have him. You already have that I. You were given that. And it's a machine for finding beauty. That I is a machine for experiencing beauty in love, experiencing beauty in the human face divine, experience beauty walking down the street. You can actually do this. You can actually remember that all of this is taking place inside you. When you see the blossoms bloom, when you see this blue sky, that's all taking place inside you, but it's coming from outside you. And so once you start to think about that, you think, wait, I get it. It's me. It really is all about you. It really is, I mean, it's a funny thing, but it's not about your lusts. It's not about your, discomfort. It's not about your sadness. It's not about any of that. It is about the beauty of being alive. The thing about joy is not always happy. Joy is sometimes incredibly sad when tragic things happen. I tell this famous Zen story in the book about a Zen master who was murdered. And the point of the story is you could hear him screaming 3 counties away. Well, why was that? Because he was experiencing life so intensely that even the bad things in life he experienced at this higher level. And that is kind of what we're going for. That's why people are taking drugs. It's why they're, taking antidepressants. It's why they're watching television all the time. It's that intensity of life that they're both afraid of, but also seeking. I do think that if you start from that, how can you even know what you're doing if you don't know why you're doing it? If you start with, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to live. I'm looking for life in abundance. I'm looking for the joy that is in God to be in me. Then you start to say, okay, well, now all this other stuff is extraneous. All the stuff that I thought was me, like money and, having, a lot of sex and all of this stuff, it maybe actually is not where I'm going. Maybe the moment is that moment when I actually see life as it is. And clear my mind. And again, this is what all this poetry is about. It's, to me, what Christianity is about. It's a way of seeing.